Hey everybody, Brian Troe coming to you from Mossy Creek Fly Fishing with your fly fishing forecast. The date for today is Monday, the 25th of November. So happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Hope everybody's got some plans to be with family and do a little bit of fishing this week. The fishing's been pretty good. We're starting to get on that little bit of a roller coaster with the weather. You know, today it's 60 degrees and Friday it was only 40 and the wind was blowing 20 miles an hour. So you're gonna have to start picking and choosing your battles here as we head into winter. So looks like we got a little bit of rain in the forecast on Wednesday and Thursday. So as we've been saying, we really need some moisture. So getting a little bit of rain might be good. We had our first snowfall this past Thursday afternoon and Friday morning, so that was kind of nice to see. And a lot of the mountains up to the west got their first accumulating snow. Snow is awesome for getting us out of drought. Snow is awesome for the groundwater, so we love to see that. And speaking of snow, it looks like some cold air is definitely coming in and going to settle in. So looking ahead to the weekend, it looks like it's going to be at freezing for high or maybe just slightly above. For those of you who are traveling to the area, and you're trying to figure out, hey, am I going to fish this weekend? Am I going to not? Something really to keep in mind when it comes to the weather. If you just type in like Harrisonburg weather, you got to do a little extra math on what it's going to be. We're at about 1,500 feet elevation here in the city of Harrisonburg, and it's in town. It's going to be a little bit warmer. The second you go 5-10 miles out, even just going to Mossy at the same elevation, it can be 5, 6, 7 degrees colder. And if you're heading up in the National Forest, fishing up on the North River or something like that, or in the park, it can be 10 degrees or even 15 degrees colder. So kind of put that into the math a little bit when you're trying to figure out, whether you're going to head out on a Saturday or not, because it's a lot of variety to the water and to the weather around here. State's still out stocking some. I think I mentioned this last week. There's a lot of lakes and stuff that have been getting stocked. All the delayed harvests are open for the year, so those are where you're going to want to focus. You're going to focus on your delayed harvest, and you're going to want to focus on your spring creeks. If we start getting, daytime highs in the 30s and nighttime lows and the teens, and we get that consistently, particularly this time of year, we'll start talking about ice. It can definitely affect the musky fishing, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But you definitely want to be kind of looking out for that and thinking about that going into next week. If it gets cold and stays cold for 5 or 6 days this time of year, we'll start seeing ice on our high mountain trout streams, and that's when you're going to want to really focus on our spring creeks. Okay, remember our groundwater temperature here in the Shenandoah Valley with all this limestone is 55 degrees. Okay, and so that's going to be nice and mild and warm for those fish, and they're going to be congregating near those springs. And so fishing places like Coursey Springs, Mossy Creek, Beaver Creek, the South River, those places are going to be much milder. Also tailwaters, so fishing over on the Jackson, tail release water is also constant temperature too. So those are the places you're going to want to focus on if it starts to get cold and stay cold. Also, you're going to want to start working on your winter techniques. Okay, so time of day matters. The window in which these fish eat is going to get condensed. It's going to get smaller. And so if you really want to go out for a couple hours fishing on a certain day, you should put those couple hours at 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, when things are going to be a little bit warmer. All right. It's not just for the fish. It's for the benthic life too. The bugs will become a little bit more active in those warmer hours, and nymphs will start moving around a little bit more. We are only a few weeks away from the solstice, so daylight is limited. There's going to be spots up in the mountains where certain pools quite literally don't even get direct sunlight at all this time of year. So that should play into your math as well. Sun's a double-edged sword, right? Sometimes brilliant bright sun can just be spooking fish, and you want to avoid it. And other times it's going to help warm the rocks up because it's just penetrating down into the water more. And there's going to be a little bit more action, a little more life in that stretch of river because everything's going to be a little bit more active. So all this stuff you need to kind of put into the math when you're heading out winter fishing, and for your own comfort and also for finding the most active fish. Start focusing on your depth more. Start for you streamer fishermen out there, whether you're fishing for muskie or whether you're fishing for bass or whether you're fishing for trout. Your rate of retrieve and how you retrieve your fly during the winter becomes really important. All right, they like a big payday in the winter because they need the calories, but they just may not be willing to chase it fast or chase it far. So you have to begin to become kind of a machine. I mention this every winter, the gridding out of the water, being purposeful with each cast, making sure that you are feeding the fish, all right? The fish don't want to come to you. You have to make sure you present the fly to them. So whether you're, fishing a nymph rig or you're nymphing or fishing a streamer, you want to make sure you're gridding out that water and putting it in front of the fish so that they can do the least amount of work imaginable to hook up and to eat. All right. So this time of year, it's going to be about depth. They may not want to swim right or left 2 feet, but they also may not want to swim up from the bottom 2 feet. So you got to constantly be playing with your depth. Make sure you got plenty of split shot. All right. Make sure you're understanding when you look into your nymph box and you just glance at a fly, the difference between a bead head, a brass bead head, and like a tungsten jigged fly, and then a tungsten jig fly with lead wraps and wire and such. So all these flies fish and sink at different rates, and so you really need to be kind of tuned in. I always tell people, if you've been fishing all morning and you haven't hung the bottom one time with your nymph or one time with your streamer, and you also haven't been getting any bites, before you go change and fly over and over again, you might want to consider just changing your depth. Okay, set your indicator deeper, slow down that streamer so it sinks more, or pinch some split shot on to make sure that you are getting down to the bottom. Okay, cover the water column, make sure you're getting down deep before you go change into every different color known to man. Keep an eye on the state site. They're going to keep on stock, and they slow down a little bit through the winter, especially if it gets real nasty and cold. But they're just going to keep on putting fish in, and they've been doing a really good job this year. For those of you who want to go brook trout fishing, I'll just tell you what I've been telling you. You know, the nests are there. They're very hard to see or identify right now. So your best bet for brook trout fishing, if you want to go this time of year, is to make sure you just do not get in the water. Stay around the perimeters and the margins, and that'll kind of help you out a little bit. And that will help you not trample some of those nests and those beds. So, we got a couple events coming up, so we want to make sure you all are aware of that. After Thanksgiving, well, actually this week, Thanksgiving week, we are going to have quite a bit of sales going on. We've got some sales that are wrapping up, and then we have some sales that are coming up. So for those of you who've follow us on our email list and all that stuff and on social media, you'll see these things coming. Some of you know what's coming. We've got great deals that happen on Thanksgiving Day, Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, Cyber Monday. So be looking out for those. Those are going to be coming up. And then also, we do this every year. We have a cool little kind of evening get together, try and encourage people to come to the shop, do some Christmas shopping a little bit early. So this year, it's called our Little Smokin' Sweet sales event. So we cook little smokies, which are delicious little hot dogs. We mull some cider. We have some adult beverages, and we have stuff on sale. And this year, that's going to be on December 5th. All right, so in a couple weeks, Thursday, December 5th is what it's going to be. And that's going to be from 6 to 8. So kind of a couple hours after we close. Lots of stuff in the store is going to be marked down, and you get some free food and some free drinks. Come by and hang out with us. Get some Christmas shopping done the fun way. All right. All right. Well, if y'all have any questions, let us know. We will be closed on Thanksgiving, but online store is always working and chugging along, and we'll be back in here Black Friday, and we'll have a lot of folks on hand to help you out with your Christmas shopping. If anybody's looking to go fishing over this holiday weekend and needs advice on where to go, or worried about the weather or water flows, just give us a call or email us, or our favorite, stop by and see us. All right. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. See y'all next week.